The following is a production of Learfield Sports.
Hello there, welcome in on Spartan Sports Report. I'm Justin Allegri. San Jose State football team 1-0 after their 2015 kicked off with a win, 43-13 over New Hampshire. We'll recap that game with San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher and look ahead to the conference opener this weekend against Air Force. Plus, our reporter Jonathan Wold will preview the Mountain West Division this year. But first, let's go back to the highlights against New Hampshire. Nice crowd on hand as the Spartans start off the 2015 campaign at home against New Hampshire. Who would get the ball to start at the quarterback position? That was the question. Joe Gray starts it off for San Jose State, completes to Billy Freeman for the first down. Gray would go 5 for 5 on the opening drive. That was capped off by this diving effort from Tyler Irvin to get into the end zone, making it 7-0. After a defensive stop, the offense right back to work. Gray flipping it out to Thomas Tucker, who runs it for 36 yards. And then the very next play, he hits the wide-open Billy Freeman for 34-yard touchdown score. San Jose State drove 75 yards in a minute and 12 seconds. Extra point was no good by Austin Lopez, and it was 13-0. Spartan defense was stout, especially early on. Here, Eugene Taylor wrapping up Sean Goldrich for the sack, forcing the 4th down. The ensuing possession for the Spartans, Gray finds his favorite target from last year, Tyler Winston, for the first down, 17-yard gain. The next play, Tyler Irvin just took over. Look at this, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders, juking, outrunning, stiff-arming his way to a 30-yard touchdown run. And the score after one quarter was 20-0. New Hampshire, though, scored quickly after a nice kick return. 2 plays later, they gave it to running back Dalton Crossan, who weaved through the defense to score from 26 yards out. And that was their first touchdown of the game. The start of the second quarter, though, saw the debut of junior college transfer Kenny Potter at the quarterback position, who completed this long 42-yard pass to fullback Shane Smith along the sideline. 2 plays later, Tucker stretches out to the sideline, extends the arm just enough to break the plane, and score from 13 yards away. Potter gets back to it, though, with some finesse to Tyler Irvin, who spins and grinds his way for 17 yards and a first down. Later on a broken play, Potter using his legs for 25 yards before he shoved out of bounds. This drive would end in frustration, though, for Austin Lopez. He misses the 27-yard field goal try just before half. So back to Gray we went to start the third quarter of play, and again he connects with Freeman for 19 yards down to the New Hampshire 30. Then it's back to Tyler Irvin for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the game, this one from a yard out, putting the score at 33-7. After another New Hampshire 3-and-out, Irvin gets the ball and dazzles once more, avoiding tackles, following his blockers, and speeding his way for 45 yards. That drive would end in a Bryce Crawford field goal from 38 yards out, making it 36-7. And check out Coach Carragher's reaction with the field goal. Spartans go back to Potter in the 4th quarter, who promptly takes it 22 yards up the middle on the draw play. After a 15-yard penalty made it 3rd and 21, Thomas Tucker receives a screen pass and follows his lineman for 27 yards and a first in the red zone. Tucker would punch it in later on the drive, and it was 43-7 Spartans. They win at 43-13, starting their year off 1-0. No turnovers in the game for the Spartans as they put up a program 5th best, 707 yards of total offense. Thomas Tucker had 19 carries for 74 yards and 2 scores. 3 receivers were over 60 yards receiving, Freeman nabbing the only score in the game as the Spartans victorious 43-13.
Time now for this week's Lexus Drive of the Game, and for the Drive of the Game, let's go back inside Spartan Stadium, and why not the first drive of the year that resulted in a touchdown for San Jose State.
We start the drive with the first play from scrimmage, Joe Gray connecting to Tim Crawley for an 8-yard gain. After a first down, Gray to the right side again this time for Hansel Wilson running for 11 yards and a first down. Then off of a play fake, it swung out to Billy Freeman, lowering the shoulder and getting the third first down of the drive. After the Spartans got into the red zone, catching and running out of play for the third 11-yard completion from Gray is Hansel Wilson, making it 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. From there, it was Tyler Irvin finishing with the touchdown from 2 yards out. Overall, the drive lasted 10 plays, going 75 yards in 4 minutes and 33 seconds for the first touchdown of the year. The drive of the game is brought to you by your Northern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. This week's Bay 101 player of the game has got to be Tyler Irvin. 20 carries for 129 yards, 3 touchdowns for the senior. He is this week's Bay 101 Casino player of the game. After the next Spartans game, drop by Bay 101 Casino for an exciting game of easy baccarat, 3-card poker, or no-bust blackjack. Bay 101 is open 24/7 and is just off the 101 freeway at the Brokaw Road exit. Bay 101 Casino, San Jose's place to play. Time now for the Kinder's Barbecue Mountain West scoreboard as we take a look at last week's scores. Utah State, boy, they got a late punt return touchdown in that game to win over Southern Utah 12-9. Hawaii defeating Pac-12 opponent Colorado on the island 28-20. And then also an upset in North Dakota, the team the Spartans saw last year in Laramie, beating the Cowboys 24-13 on the Kinder's Barbecue Mountain West scoreboard.
We'll take our first break here on Spartan Sports Report. When we return, Jonathan Wold will have the season preview of the Mountain West's West Division. More to come on Spartan Sports Report.
Some things are not what they appear to be. Other things are exactly what they appear to be. The 306 horsepower Lexus IS 350. As aggressive as it looks. See your Northern California Lexus dealer.
Come enjoy a California-grown experience at Una Mas Mexican Grill. From our local produce and freshest ingredients to our unique authentic Mexican dishes and salsa bar, Una Mas truly is California-grown. Since the first Una Mas opened in San Jose over 20 years ago, we've worked hard to use the freshest local ingredients to make the dishes you love. Because when we care this much about our food, everything is going to taste better, naturally. Una Mas Mexican Grill. We taste better.
Welcome back on Spartan Sports Report. Jonathan Wold, our reporter, now previews the Mountain West West Division as we enter conference play this weekend.
The Mountain West Division has a pretty common theme running throughout the contenders. That's a new quarterback. Only UNLV returns a full-time starter from last season, with San Jose State's Joe Gray as one of the more experienced options in the division. With such a crucial position in limbo for so many teams, the West Division title could be up for grabs. Tony Sanchez takes over as the new head coach of the UNLV Rebels after 6 seasons and 6 state championships coaching Bishop Gorman High School.
We got to learn how to be consistently successful here. You know, again, we're 1 year coming off a bowl game, had a little bit of a dip, and it's just trying to create that culture that you can consistently be competitive in.
Former Spartan coach Kent Baer joins Sanchez's staff as the defensive coordinator. Unlike the rest of the teams in the West, the Rebels will have a returning starter at quarterback in Blake Decker.
You know what, I tell you what, I'm really proud of Decker. He's done a great job. You know, we went into spring football and we didn't have a starter. We let everybody battle it out, and they all rotated with the first group. And you know what, I think that really created a competitive edge for him, and the players really rallied around him.
The team has potential, but has question marks on both the offensive and defensive lines, as well as in the secondary. After a 4-9 record last season, Hawaii ranked 5th in the West in the conference preseason poll. Max Wittick takes over the reins at quarterback after transferring in from USC.
He's a good player. He's a junkie. He loves to watch tape. He's big, he's strong, he's got a good arm, so we feel real good about Max Wittick.
In his debut, Wittick and the Rainbow Warriors pulled off a 28-20 win hosting Colorado in their season opener. The big question mark with Hawaii's defense will be on the line. The team only returns 2 of last year's top 7 linemen.
Well, this will be without question the best team we've had since we've been there. We've been there for 3 years. It's been difficult, obviously, but you know, with good senior leadership, I think a team has a chance.
Brian Polian's first season was a relative success with Nevada, with a 7-6 record in 2014. The Wolfpack opened their season with a 31-17 win over UC Davis. Tyler Stewart made the start at QB in the game after a competition for the job was vacated by the very athletic Cody Fajardo.
Stewart and Freilich are good decision makers, but probably not the speed that Cody could take a zone read and run it 70 yards for a touchdown, which we saw multiple times. These guys are good enough to go get you a couple first downs. I don't know if they're going to run away from Mountain West defensive backs the way that Cody could.
The pass rush looks to be a strength for the defense. Defensive end Ian Seau had 8 sacks last season. If the line can't pressure the opposing quarterback, though, he may have some success against an unproven secondary that lost starters at free safety and on both corners.
My biggest concern is the defensive backfield and our youth. We have talented people, but they're inexperienced.
Last season, a Fresno State team that was still reeling from the loss of Derek Carr finished a somewhat disappointing 6-8. Despite the sub-500 record overall, the team went 5-3 in conference, winning the West Division and earning a spot in the Hawaii Bowl. The competition for starting quarterback this year was very young. Sophomore Zach Greenlee got the majority of the reps in Fresno State's 34-13 win against Abilene Christian in the opener.
I liked how our guys competed in the spring. I think we've got some really talented young guys, but when you have guys that haven't been there, there's always that element of excitement that you're not quite sure what they're going to do when the lights come on.
Senior running back Martez Walker will likely be the featured piece of the offense after a 2014 season with over 1,300 rushing yards and 11 rushing touchdowns.
He's one of the hardest working guys we have on our team. He looks to be more explosive to us. He's really poised to have a great year, and we're going to need him. We're going to have to lean on him a little bit, especially given that we're going to have a young quarterback.
Outside of quarterback, Fresno State will also have a significant amount of youth at wide receiver and on the defensive line. How mature those players look will play a major factor in whether or not the Bulldogs can defend their divisional crown. San Diego State comes into 2015 projected as the #1 team in the West Division in the conference media poll. Last season, the Aztecs lost out to Fresno State by a tiebreaker for the division title and also fell just short to Navy in the Poinsettia Bowl. San Diego State cruised to a 37-3 victory over crosstown rival San Diego in their opener. Maxwell Smith, a transfer and former starter at Kentucky, gets the nod at quarterback for the Aztecs, but the offensive star of the team is running back Donnell Pumphrey.
I don't know if you can expect more. We hope he has the same kind of year. I mean, he had a great year. He stayed healthy. He carried the ball a lot, did a lot of great things for us, and he is probably key to our quarterbacks developing. So if we can run the ball, it's easier on quarterbacks.
As a junior last year, Pumphrey ran through opponents with 1,873 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns on the ground. The offensive line will need some new pieces to step up as well to give Smith and his receivers some more comfortability. Defensively, though, the Aztecs are expected to excel. Although 3 of the top 4 linebackers left the team, Calvin Munson should still anchor a formidable core.
We think we got good defensive linemen. We think we have a couple really good linebackers, but our depth at linebacker is a little shaky. But if we can get the same kind of heat on quarterbacks, our secondary will play well.
The defense and Pumphrey alone should be able to put the Aztecs in the conversation to win the division. The passing game will decide if they take the crown or allow someone else to sneak in. In San Jose, Jonathan Wold, Spartan Sports Report.
Thanks, Jonathan. We step outside football now to a 34-year hiatus for San Jose State's men's water polo that ended last week. That's right, the Spartans men's water polo team took on Santa Clara, the Broncos, in front of a standing room only crowd at the Aquatic Center to open up the season. Justin Contreras netted 4 goals and Vladimir Kaczynski had 2 en route to the 13-7 Spartan victory. The big story, though, was goalkeeper Matej Matejevich, who stopped 19 shots in 29 minutes. The Spartans return to action on Saturday, September 12th at 12 o'clock as they host UC Davis. We'll take another break here on Spartan Sports Report. When we return, Coach Caragher will be in studio to talk about the win over New Hampshire. More to come when we return.
With millions of businesses all in one place, the YP app can help you do pretty much anything. But can it get you to the moon? You'll need a space helmet. YP can do that. You'll need the highest rated hardware stores. Check. YP even has a cheap gas finder, which is perfect for longer trips. The even more powerful, so much more than a search engine Yellow Pages. YP can do that.
Welcome back on Spartan Sports Report, now joined by San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher. Coach, nice win. First game of the year. The big question mark, obviously, coming into that game was the quarterback scenario, and it's nice to see both quarterbacks playing well in that first game.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good start for the team, for that position in particular. I thought they played well, made pretty good decisions for the most part with the ball, distributed to our athletes on the perimeter, and that carried over, transpired to effective drives and points on the board, so it was a good start.
Well, let's talk about both of them here kind of briefly. Joe Gray, each quarterback did their own way, it seemed like, and they were effective their own way. Joe just looked more composed to me than he had in years past. He was out there, was calm but composed.
Yeah, I agree. He definitely was one area we wanted to improve, was that area, and particularly the red zone as we get across the midfield line. And I think he'd made some good decisions, good choices, even when he had to tuck it and run it once or twice and make some gains with his legs. But all in all, it was a pretty effective performance. I was encouraged.
And then Kenny Potter, 13 of 14. He worked. It seemed like he worked the offense a little bit slower, and maybe that's because he mixed in the run a little bit more. But still effective.
Yeah, definitely. He has the ability to tuck the ball and run and make plays with his legs. But he also, those numbers, completing 90% of your passes, is making good decisions, and they weren't all checkdowns. They were some balls were down the field, and then when it wasn't there, he tucked it effectively and ran the ball. So we want positive yardage, and all in all, I thought Kenny did a really good job in decision making.
Well, you always want a nice start to the season, but 707 yards of total offense, fifth most in history. That's got to feel pretty good as a jumping point into the year.
It was good because first game of the year, you come out the gate and mistakes will happen. It's part of the culture when you come out first game, not knowing what you're up against the opponent. You do your best to estimate what who they are and what they're going to do. But all in all, I was encouraged. We moved the ball well. We ran the ball. We were physical from the start, and I thought that carried over. And all across the board, offensively, and I think we'll get into this probably defensively, played well. Special teams, an area that we can improve on, but that happens first game out.
We'll talk about your defense. Just mentioned them, 186 total yards of offense for New Hampshire. Thought the defense looked good in the first game.
They did. They were very physical. There were so many 3-and-outs, and I think that's a big part of the skewed statistics is the defense did 3-and-out many times, and they played physical. They broke up some passes on the back end. The secondary drove on routes very well. We played man coverage well. We put some pressure on the quarterback, who's a 4-year starter, is able to make plays over with his legs and his arm as well. But all in all, defense did a good job versus so much that New Hampshire is capable of doing.
Really complicated
they are. They spread the field. They run pods and so forth. And we didn't see all that the other night, but we had to prepare for it in case we did.
Well, and talk about your special teams. Maybe one spot that you would like to improve on from that game. 6 kick returns for 156 yards for them. Maybe that was one spot. But special teams also with the kicking unit. Austin Lopez seemed like he was so confident in the fall and just seemed to lose it in that game.
Yeah, it was tough. Felt like a step back. I thought he had made some progress forward. The one kickoff return really put our defense on a short field, a tough position. They returned it to the 35-yard line and got a touchdown. So half their points came on a short field. But I agree, the special teams element is such an important part, and Austin's field goals were an important part. I thought we made some good momentum during fall camp. But the nice thing is to have an answer, and I think that Bryce Crawford stepped in and was very solid in his kicking, and now he'll be given the opportunity to be the kicker. And I told Austin, you have to be there, you have to be ready. You're one play away from going back in.
So is he your starter?
He'll be our starter, correct? Right, based on Saturday evenings or Thursday evening's performance.
It's just unfortunate. You don't want to have to go through that early in the season, but I guess maybe in some regard, it's nice to see somebody step up, right?
Definitely, and over the course of a year, we'll need more than one. I think that it's great. I think, Justin, earlier in the season, the more you get more guys into the game will pay dividends down the road. So the quarterback position, for example, even though Joe was playing good, Kenny came in, and Kenny got some great experience and showed that he can play, just like the kicking game. They both got in. Bryce got that game experience, and so I think it'll pay off down the road as we'll need all of them.
All right, we'll take a quick break with Coach Caragher, and we'll talk Air Force when we return on Spartan Sports Report.
Come enjoy a California-grown experience at Unamas Mexican Grill. From our local produce and freshest ingredients to our unique authentic Mexican dishes and salsa bar, Una Mas truly is California grown. Since the first Una Mas opened in San Jose over 20 years ago, we've worked hard to use the freshest local ingredients to make the dishes you love. Because when we care this much about our food, everything is going to taste better, naturally. Una Mas Mexican Grill. We taste better.
With millions of businesses all in one place, the YP app can help you do pretty much anything. But can it get you to the moon? You'll need a space helmet. YP can do that. You'll need the highest rated hardware stores. Check. YP even has a cheap gas finder, which is perfect for longer trips. The even more powerful, so much more than a search engine Yellow Pages. YP can do that.
I don't think there's any competition between me and you. No competition. No competition.
Spartans football is back. Secure your tickets by calling 408-924-7589 or visiting sjsuspartans.com. Welcome back on Spartan Sports Report, continuing to talk with San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher as we preview Air Force here, Coach. Maybe a little odd to get into conference play this early in the year, huh?
Very early to do that. You like to have a couple of non-conference games leading into it, but it's a Mountain West game. Stakes are high, obviously, and a road game at that too. So it'll be a couple. I told our team this is a challenge. Our next challenge, playing on the road and then playing a conference game that we know is important. So our guys will be excited for it.
That's a team that won 10 games a year ago. They went to the Potato Bowl up in Idaho, won that against a Western Michigan team. So they return a lot of their core running, and this is really a running team. The triple option that they use, which the Spartans have seen in recent years.
Now we've been this is another test. How do the Spartans respond? You know, we've definitely, it's no secret, we've had our challenges playing triple option teams, getting ready for them on a short notice, a short week space. But I feel like this team's different. I feel like this defense is different, more mature. I feel like our guys are ready and very much looking forward to this challenge.
Now, would you call it a true triple option? And when Navy ran the triple option, it was their bread and butter. But it seems like Air Force will mix in a little more passing than a true triple option.
They will mix it in, but sometimes those triple option, I would call them a triple option team. The ability to give the ball to the fullback on the dive, then you pull it. That's one option. You pull it, and you can keep it as 2 or pitch it as 3. So the quarterback often has 3 options, but they will mix in a power run game with that triple option, and they'll make some play action passes. Their quarterback last week was I think you have 4 completions with 2 of them touchdowns. Part of the benefit of the triple option is lull you to sleep in the secondary and bring you up, and then throw it over the top of the defense, and they did that effectively.
Both of those touchdowns were over 25 yards
too.
So
Yes, right.
They'll snap one on you. So, and this is an Air Force team that can do it so many different ways. 16 players carried the ball last week.
Yeah, and I think of those 16, 9 of them had an average per carry of over 5 yards, and 4 or 5 of them averaged over 8 or 9 yards a carry. So there were some big runs in that game of misdirection, and the Air Force backfield has some good athletes, and they do a good job of deception and getting their ball carriers in the open field.
Teams were able to put up some pretty good numbers against them, though, last year. Have you seen their defense maybe improve a little bit over the course of the
I think they are. I think they're a better, what I see, and it's just one game this year in 2015, but I thought they were very sound, keeping the Morgan State in check and not giving up the big play down the field. Made it difficult for them to run the football effectively, and all in all, I think they're a very good team. They did lose some starters, but they more so reloaded, I think, with guys who are good, solid players.
All right, Coach, final question for you. A healthy quarterback controversy, probably a good place to be. But do you go with the Potter-Gray combination again for this game, or do you know yet?
Yeah, it's still early in the week, and I want to let the week unfold and play out. But you use the word I used in the press conference, healthy, and I think I use that because it helped each player got better as a result of the other, and one pushes another, and I think it was good, and there wasn't any negative side effects of rotating reps, and I think we did a good job distributing the repetitions so they weren't hurt by taking half the reps of the ones, because they got half the reps of the 2. So all in all, it really equaled out. But I think It's so important in that position to have depth and to have guys who are game experienced and tested. So I feel good about the 2-quarterback system. To what extent they'll go, it's hard to say right now, but we will ride this wave until we feel we need to make a change.
All right, that's San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
More to come here on Spartan Sports Report when we return.
Some things are not what they appear to be. Other things are exactly what they appear to be. The 306 horsepower Lexus IS 350. As aggressive as it looks. See your Northern California Lexus dealer.
The Learfield Sports Directors Cup honors the nation's best overall collegiate athletic program in each division, men's and women's sports. The prestigious award continues its reign as the crowning achievement in college athletics. To follow your favorite team, like us on Facebook. Find us in USA Today, online, and on Twitter at LS Directors Cup. Over 2 decades of excellence, the Learfield Sports Directors Cup.
Welcome back on Spartan Sports Report. That does it for this week's episode. Once again, San Jose State hits the road for the conference opener this weekend, Saturday, against Air Force. That kickoff a 7:15 kick Pacific time. Pre-game show will start on 1590 AM KLIV and the Spartan Radio Network beginning at 6:30 Pacific. That does it for this week's episode. Thanks for watching this week. We'll see you next time.